p.m. We'll start off with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Salute, pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Born and unborn.
Move on to roll call.
Julie Beechner-Taus,
Here.
Joe Marcano,
Here.
Mary Little, Jose Gonzalez,
Here.
Lori Eskew, James Robinson,
Here.
Lori Cisneros,
Here.
Lejea Austin Turner. Thank you.
Moving on to 1.4, adoption of the agenda. Is there a motion to adopt the current agenda?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion, second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 1.5, approval of the minutes from last month's board meeting held on January 13th, 2026. Is there a motion to approve those minutes? Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I think there was a minor typo in those notes, so I think it's been corrected, just to clarify that.
Okay. So we have a motion, a second. All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 2.0, public comment. We have 5, is that correct?
Yes.
We'll go ahead and get started with the first speaker.
First speaker is John Hart.
Thank you. My name's John Hart. I'm a former Bakersfield, Californian photojournalist and instructor at Bakersfield College and Cal State Bakersfield, now fully retired. I'm here tonight to condemn and call out a blatant act of bullying aimed at a constituent and one of our friends at last month's meeting by Trustee Jim Robinson, as well as to provide him and you, the board, with some clarity on both the First Amendment and the process of judicial review and constitutionality, which he seems not to understand. At that meeting, Ellen expressed her concerns about the board incorporating content from PragerU into the county schools. Ms. Schaffhauser spoke politely and professionally and equated the introduction of PragerU content with the board's recently and thankfully failed attempt to place the 10 Commandments in some of our county schools. Ellen's exact words were, quote, "This is really again like the 10 Commandments, where again, wedging Christianity into the public school system, which we know is something that the First Amendment subscribes to," end quote. Please note that Ellen never spoke the words church and state. Following Ellen's comment, Trustee Robinson decided he would bully Ellen while demonstrating a complete lack of knowledge of both the Establishment Clause of the First Amendment as well as how the Supreme Court establishes constitutionality. Trustee Robinson had the audacity to hold up a copy of the Constitution and he made the following comments. You made a reference to the First Amendment and the separation of church and state, and there's nothing in the First Amendment regarding the separation of church and state, not in any way, shape, or form. There's no wall between church and state. There's nothing in the First Amendment that says anything about church and state. That is true, Mr. Robinson, there isn't. However, that's where judicial review and constitutionality come in. I'm surprised that anybody could sit on a school board, wave the Constitution around in a deliberate attempt to embarrass a constituent and not understand judicial review and the United States Constitution. So I'll help you out. In 1803, in the case of Marbury versus Madison, the Supreme Court established the practice of judicial review. The court, recognizing that laws must be protected from outside influences, particularly political influence, and that the Constitution would be a living document that would clearly encounter issues that had not yet been considered. The Madison ruling established that the United States Supreme Court would be the final word in such matters, and their rulings would, in fact, determine constitutionality. In other words, they would become part of the Constitution. Looks like
Thank you, sir.
I'm, can I leave you guys the rest of my comments?
Certainly.
All right. And I also have a copy of an article from the Supreme Court website that will help Ms. Robinson.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Moving on to our next speaker.
Helen Acosta.
At the January 13th meeting, Trustee Lori Eskew told the room that any adults who support trans rights should seek professional help. That statement is inappropriate, unprofessional, and fundamentally incompatible with the role of a trustee. Board of Education trustees are not commentators. They are entrusted with the safety, dignity, and educational access of all children in this county. My transgender nephew attends a school in a district where leadership supports and nurtures his growth. He feels safe at school. Every student here deserves that same protection and dignity. When an elected trustee publicly pathologizes support for trans people, she legitimizes stigma. When that stigma comes from someone with authority over schools, it does real harm. Trans children are already among the most vulnerable students you serve. They experience higher rates of bullying, depression, and suicide, not because of who they are, but because adults pathologize their existence. Protecting children means creating schools where no student is singled out as a problem to be fixed, cured, or erased. When leaders speak in ways that endanger students, that is negligence, not courage. Adults who hold public office are expected to regulate themselves, not project fear or hostility onto children. If a trustee cannot speak about entire groups of people without dehumanizing them, then that is a matter requiring professional reflection. Our schools are places where young people develop their identities, their confidence, and their sense of belonging. Trustees should model care, restraint, and responsibility, not cruelty framed as opinion. I urge this board to remember its duty to protect all children, not just the ones whose experiences are familiar. Thank you.
Ellen Schaffhauser.
Hello, my name's Ellen Schaffhauser. Actually, I'm a former teacher over in Ridgecrest. And actually, there's 3 things I wanted to mention in 3 minutes. And the one is about ICE. ICE is coming to town, and we know it. It's already been up in Porterville and many other places, and they've been going to schools. What are you going to do about it? I'd like to see the plan as to what it is, and I'm sure there's many other people that want to know, what have you in store in order to protect our children from ICE? And you're not supposed to protect necessarily their parents, but what about the other children that get to see what happens in their classrooms or at their office or wherever it is that these ICE agents come in and they abduct or they wait and bait and get the parents. And the parents may be actually American citizens. So that's one thing I want to say. About PragerU, I want to see the curriculum. I want to see the books in my hands so that I can see what it is that you are proposing to have in the classroom, even if it's supplemental. But I know there's a curriculum that's behind it. And third, I just picked this up. That was over on the table over there. Freedom 250 Teacher Toolkit. Sounds really great. I read the whole thing. Yeah, well, where's the history going to be? Is there going to be history that deals with other cultures that are coming in here? You know what I'm talking about, DEI. So I want to see what's going to happen with that, as to what will be actually presented during our 250-year celebration. Because the people, when you have to get your information through the football celebration, you have to get your information of culture, of the different diversity that's come to this country, this beautiful country, this country that I'm very proud of. And oh, I'm wearing this to prove that I'm patriotic. So please, give some more information about how you're going to make this multicultural, because it isn't just one set of people that came here and made this country. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lori Brashler.
Hello. Ellen pretty much already addressed what I wanted to say, so it was just more of a question, and I know you guys don't have to answer, but it was when, I know that in December of 2025, the California Attorney General, they had sent the Promoting a Safe and Secure Learning Environment for All to help with writing policies on what's going to happen when ICE does come into the schools. And I am really worried about the kids. I understand that their families may or may not be here legally, but we do have to address not only the children that it's going to affect personally, but the ones that are also their friends. And, you know, these are children that they love each other. They don't understand what we're all fighting about. They just understand that some of their friends aren't going to have their parents. And I want to make sure that we have the resources in place. And I know that they are supposed to have, you guys are supposed to be updating your policies. And I would just like to know if that could please be put in the next agenda. So maybe we can have an idea of what is going to be available for the kids. You know, as far as mental health or whatever, how we're going to keep them safe. Are we going to keep ICE out of the schools to try to keep them out? I mean, what the plan is. But thank you.
Thank you.
Caleb Tuttle.
Bit nervous. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the board, and to those watching the meeting here and abroad. My name is Caleb Tuttle, and I am a student at CSUB. As I work towards becoming a high school history teacher, I come across challenges and questions concerning how I will handle the minutiae of teaching students, how I will help my future students learn in a safe and positive environment. Though I do not have all the answers yet, at the end of the day, I remind myself that everyone who works in the realms of primary and secondary education are there because of the children, and everything they do and allow should be there because it is supposed to be what's best for all students and their learning experiences. With this in mind, I cannot, in good conscience, support the implementation or integration of PragerU in any of the educational material or events here with schools in Kern County. I do not agree. I don't think instead of, I've heard that one of the things being pushed is the book fair in a box. And while it does sound good on paper, I think that instead, and you can correct me if this is the wrong group to address, but I believe that instead we need to push more promotion and funding for local book events. For example, here in Kern County, we do have the, sorry, give me 1 second. Like any college student, I'm jumbled with my notes. The Bookmobile, supported by the Kern County Library. I believe that's been going on since I was a little kid, and I think that's something that we should probably put more time and effort into than allowing a non-accredited group like PragerU to be involved with, like I said, the educational material or events with schools in here. And again, you may correct me on this if I am wrong, but I believe this is, if this were passed, this would only be affecting as well the KCSOS alternative schools. And I don't think, again, I haven't even started subbing or anything. I don't have any real teaching experience yet, but I don't think that's the right approach for these alternative schools, which last time I checked is home to a lot of at-risk kids for expulsion and kids who are sometimes labeled juvenile delinquents. Sorry. I apologize if the tone coming from my mouth seems impudent, but If I sound frustrated, it's because I care greatly about the county that I was born and raised in, and I care about an environment that I may work in within the next few years. If I just I just care a lot about this county, and I don't think we need to work with a group like PragerU to move forward. Thank you for your time. Have a good night.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the informational items. We have a presentation by Deputy Superintendent Russell Sentis and also by Lourdes Butcher, Assistant Superintendent.
Thank you, Russell. Good evening, board. I bring some friends. You can come on up, or if you want to sit while we get situated, you're welcome to do that too. Perfect. We're here, first off, we're all wearing our Leaders in Life executive polos, and we left some polos out for you. For that, thank you. So that's where those came from. We just wanted to share a little piece of Leaders in Life with you this evening, and hope I can make this work here. All right. So today I'm actually fortunate enough to have Morgan Clayton here, who's one of the founders of Leaders in Life. So I'm actually going to invite him up to come share on this piece. Why speak about him when he's here? So I'm really excited to have him. So I'll hand it over to you and then we'll keep going.
That was really slick. Anyway, board, just good evening to you. I want to take a lot of your time because I really want to hear the voices of the youth. Leaders in Life, founded back in 1998, and really it's a thank you to the board for being visionary enough to allow the youth to have their own conference for youth by youth. Going back from Kelly Blanton to every superintendent you have today with John and your board, you've always supported it. And the whole idea is creating their spark in a position where all students come together in collaboration. And the goal is simply to allow them to seek out what's most important to them in a collaborative way in a safe environment, and you've allowed that to happen. So I'm gonna say thank you because the voice of the youth is most important to me tonight. I'm just behind the scenes with a bunch of other business people. Been here 45 years, born and raised in Southeast all my life, and it's all about what you do is keeping kids safe in an environment to learn. And the last thing is, I want them to stay in Bakersfield and Kern County. So this is a good way to try that. So thank you for all your support, and now let me get the real voices of what matters up here so they can tell you about their experiences.
Mr. Clayton, Mr. Clayton, Mr. Clayton. 1 minute. How long have you been doing this?
Oh, I'm so sorry. This is our 26th year, and we're expecting over 2,000 this year, and it continues to grow every year. And I've been over in Tri-Counties working with Oxnard and the whole Tri-County area because they want to move the same momentum. So we're just trying to figure out how to make it work within the framework of all the headwinds that we're all dealing with. So, but I'm excited about it because I know that it's all about kids, so I know we can make it work. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you, Morgan, and I'm on the hook for lunch. I'll get you. I'll get you back. So as Morgan mentioned, this is the 26th annual Leaders in Life Conference. Just a little more background, the target audience is middle and high school students with untapped potential to be tomorrow's leaders, and I brought some today, and they'll be up here to share with you some of the things they learned from Leaders in Life and some of those professional leadership skills that they've grown throughout their time with Leaders in Life. As Morgan mentioned, this conference is youth-led and driven. The executive board is comprised mostly of young students and some adults, KCSOS staff, some community members as well. Youth lead all of the meetings, the general meetings, the subcommittee meetings, the evening executive board meetings. They're there for all of it. The role of us adults is just to provide support, coach, mentor these students throughout their leadership skills, and just be there for them whenever they need us. They also oversee, the conference has 5 subcommittees: speakers and workshops, resource fair, PR and marketing, fund development, venue and logistics. So about, I want to say we're at 100 general students. So that's the polo that you have today. They divide into those groups and create and do all of the work and footwork for their subcommittee. Next up, just a quick overview and the vision. Leaders in Life brings together tons of students across Kern County and beyond. They come for a full day, 8:30 to 2, keynote speakers, nationally recognized keynote speakers, resource fair, interactive breakout sessions that the youth have chosen to invite for the day of the event. So again, it's all something that they work really hard to put together, and they'll be highlighting some of those things here shortly. Next, I'd like to highlight a partnership that we had this year with McFarland High School and their Cougar Creations Club, which is part of their CTE program. They screen printed 1,350 shirts. And if you talk to any of these students, he said, we never want to see a teal shirt ever again. But it was just a wonderful opportunity to support these students in another student-led program. We share that same dream for our students. So it was no-brainer collaborating with them to support Leaders in Life. And they're excited to come to the conference this year. These are just some quick pictures from last year's group. This is the full 2025 Leadership Committee here at the stairs at Dignity Arena. And then we have our 2 scholarship winners there, and just one of the very many busy hallways on the day of the event. And before I call the students up, I'd like for you to save the date. It is on March 12th. This year, you have your polo, you're ready to go. Come join us for the fun anytime. It is all day. We're there very, very early, around 6, but don't show up at 6. Anytime between 8 and maybe 10:30, so you can catch some of those speakers. Would be a wonderful opportunity for you to see all of the hard work that these kids have poured into this conference. And with that, I'd like to invite Alyssa and Tanav to share a little bit more about their experience with Leaders in Life.
Hello, everyone. My name is Alyssa Paredes, and I am the chair of the organization. So nice to see most of you guys again.
My name is Thanav Dibbanani, and I'm a co-chair as well.
Yes. So honestly, there's not much I can do to rehearse for anything like this. This has to come from just my heart, and I'm so excited to share every one of my thoughts and emotions about this organization to you guys. When I started Leaders in Life, I was in 8th grade, so this is my 5th year. So I really came right when like COVID hit and the transition back to normality. So I've been there for a while now. I have been the chair for 4 years. After my first year as a general member and then transitioned to an executive, I was asked to be the chair by our past chair. And at first it was like, absolutely no. Like, I can't talk in front of people, what? Like, no. But I will say, after accepting the role, it's been the biggest life changer for me. Some doors that Leaders in Life have opened for me. I've been on Do the Math and Youth Voice Amplified. It's through Kern High, I'm pretty sure. So I've gotten so much publicity, not only for me and practice for my speaking skills, but also publicity for Leaders in Life. I think that the organization is such a beautiful organization, and it has offered so many resources and opportunities to kids within Kern High. It's just honestly the greatest thing ever. And when I became chair, my number one rule was my number one goal was to create a safe space for all students to be able to speak openly and share their ideas and perspectives without being scared. And I'm hopefully feel like I have been able to accomplish that goal, and I've been a part of growing the organization, so I'm super proud of that.
Yeah.
Broke it.
Okay, so I was tasked today with giving you guys a perspective of what it means to be a leader or even a student in Leaders in Life. But I think the best way for me to do that, even to try to get close to what Alyssa just did, was to give you some perspective on who I was before and then how Leaders in Life has transformed who I became, who I am now. So for the longest time, I was never anyone who took any initiative, right? My teachers would always write on their PTAs, and when they talk to my parents, like lacks initiative, but still has the potential to be great. I was never really one to go and seek out opportunity when I needed it, but I was more comfortable in areas like taking tests and just doing things that I felt a lot more comfortable with. So I've been attending the like the conference itself as like just like someone who like as a spectator for the past 2 years. And in my most recent year, last year, I had a conversation with Alyssa actually. So at that point, she was telling me, and she beautifully explained how Leaders in Life works and how it operates on a daily basis. How you have so many diverse students come together for one purpose to actually like create something tangible that gives so many opportunities to people who never had them, right? So when originally I heard this and I was super interested, but again, me being myself, I never really like pursued it or did anything out of my own. But Alyssa, being the fantastic chair she is, actually reached out to me and asked like, hey, like, do you want to be part of this organization? And she sent me the application. So I went through all the processes, and in the first onboarding meeting, they explained something to me. They said that the goal of Leaders in Life is to find the spark in kids who never had one before. And through working with Alyssa and all my other peers, I found that spark. I gained confidence in my ability to lead people, and I gained my ability and my confidence to collaborate. With that, I gained the ability to go and seek out opportunities. Since joining Leaders in Life, I've been named my junior class president, something I would have never even thought of doing before. But Leaders in Life and the people who surrounded me and the staff and my peers have really helped me become the leader I am today. So, thank you.
Well, thank you guys, and have a good night.
Any questions for any of our students before we head out? No questions?
I love how you said how it created something tangible, because that these days with technology and AI and all that's happening right now with technology, to have something tangible is huge. And I just love that you said that. And both of you, I can see those leadership skills in both of you. I'm excited to see what's next for you, because I can see you're standing out in the crowd. You're standing out. So I'm just really proud of both of you.
Yeah, thank you so much. Look forward to seeing you on March 12th.
Well, both of you, I wish I could speak so well at my age, and at your age, I couldn't even try to do what you're doing. I'm very impressive. Very articulate. You come across so much emotion, truth, of authenticity of who you are. Yeah. And I appreciate you coming up here and telling us about what you do, and I look forward to seeing you again. You two are great, and thank you for the shirt.
Yeah.
Thank you so
I've
much.
already sung all my praises to Alyssa. So, I'm sorry. What was I missed your name.
Danav?
Donav? Let me ask you something. When you were in those PTA meetings that you mentioned, and the teacher said he lacks initiative, but he's got potential for greatness. What do you think of the word great? How did you take that when somebody said that you might actually be great one day?
I think to be great is to look at all the opportunities that's presented to you, even if they come straight to your feet or if you need to work a little hard for them. But I mean, working and taking the initiative to actually go achieve those opportunities and do something with them is what it means to be great. To succeed and become and to exceed expectations.
Great answer.
Excellent answer. Bravo. And just remember, I'm not talking about people that gratuitously come up to you, that say gratuitously, you're great. I'm talking about when somebody actually recognizes something in you. Those are the kind of people you want to keep around. So anyway, but bravo, all of you. Have you guys been in touch with the Kegley Institute of Ethics over on the Cal State University campus with Dr. Nate Olson? Okay. He hasn't reached out to you guys. Ms. Boucher? Okay, I'm going to see what I can do about that. I spoke to him back a couple of months ago, but I'm going to go ahead and follow up again with him.
Thank you so much.
You guys are amazing.
Yes.
Good job.
Indeed. Bravo.
Okay.
Great presentation.
Wonderful.
We're going to move on to the action items, beginning with the consent agenda 4.1. Is there a motion to approve the graduation diplomas? We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to general business, starting with 4.2.1, approval of the 2024-2025 annual audit report.
My brain hurts.
We'll have John Medina present to you the findings of the annual audit. It's a really long list of findings.
It
so.
is.
Good evening, board. So again, I'll keep it pretty brief, but in the end, on page, I believe it's page 3, pages 1, 2, and 3, our auditors delivered us an unqualified, unmodified opinion, which is the best that you can get in an audit. It means that they didn't find anything, that they have zero reservations about giving us a quality audit. And then, again, the most important part on pages 113 through 116 are where any findings or questioned costs would be. And for our organization, we have successfully achieved 0 findings or questioned costs, and there's nothing from the prior year to be corrected. Again, those are the highlights from this entire report, but willing to answer any questions you might have.
How many years has this auditor been doing this?
Our auditors, we did an RFP approximately 3 or 4 years ago.
So is it a 5-year term?
Correct. It goes annually, but every 5 years we will switch the principal auditor. So it will still be the same firm since they have a lot of our records, but they'll change the principal person who's responsible for commissioning the audit.
Oh, okay, thank you.
If there's no further questions, is there a motion to approve the annual audit report?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any discussion?
I would like to also take it home to look at it in depth, so if there are any discussions at next board meeting, I'd like to bring it up.
Okay. Any further discussion?
I have a question, and I'm not sure if it's part of the audit, but let's see what page this is. 102, I think it is. It lists the County Board of Education on there. Do you see that page? And
Correct.
I'm looking at the term expiration dates. I don't think those are correct.
Okay. I will go back and double check those, and I'll have them reissue this with the correct dates.
I believe Beechner, Trustee Beechner, and Trustee Gonzalez, and Trustee Robinson, those are the ones that are incorrect according to my notes.
Mine is correct.
Oh, that is correct.
Yeah.
Okay.
Unless there's something somebody's not telling me.
Because I was appointed, I finished out the term.
And then,
Froelich ran for the seat. Now I have to run. I'm finishing his seat, and now I have to run.
He was
For
on the same
26.
cycle as Joe and Mary and me?
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Thanks for clarifying that.
Okay. Okay, I will get these corrected and I'll get them reissued. I do see Jose's term expired 2024. That one hasn't been updated.
Okay.
So,
Jose should be 28 also.
correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And in the midst of all that, thank you so much for taking this on. 'Cause that means that I don't have to.
Anytime.
and how long does it take to get this done, John?
Our audits begin in May. Before the year closes, we start to do sampling, start to gather all the backup, and this year did not finish clear into January. Between auditing all the programs, on-site visits, off-site visits, it's a pretty big lift.
It is quite a job.
Thank you for what you do.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Great report.
All right. Any further discussion on this topic? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 4.2.2, approval of the 2024-2025 School Accountability Report Card for Court Schools.
We have Desiree Von Flew, who will be up to present this, and just want to circle back on John Medina and his team. He's had a lot of changes in the business department with retirements and new employees coming in, and to have a 0 finding audit is magnificent. I've talked to other county offices, and they have a handful of audit findings, so kudos to the business department.
Agreed.
Good evening. I have your annual SARC reports. These are generated for both our court schools and our community schools. We're going to begin with looking at the court school SARC. And these details in this report cover all the students that are placed by our court system into 4 different locations where students are residing and receiving their instruction through a contract with probation with our office for the education portion. And that's at Central, at Camp Owen, at Redwood, and at Jameson. In the 24-25 school year, this accounted for 2,030 enrollments. And the average length of time students were in those court programs were 36 days. So it's good just to put a revolving door in your head as to that population and how quickly it turns over. We'll begin looking at our program notes on page 3. It breaks it down for one specific day, even though we're looking at over 2,000 students being part of this process. The numbers that you see there are for one specific day with a total enrollment of 191 students. And you can see from those numbers that we top out in our heavy populations at the high school age range. Page 4 and 5 talk about teacher preparations and the staff members that we have on duty there. And on page 6, you see a description of our curriculum and all of our adopted instructional resources. The Edmentum program you've heard about before. It allows us to have the most individualized pacing for our students because they all come in with a different course load and different deficits that need to be addressed. Page 7 of this SARC outlines the conditions of the facilities that our students are being served in. And this is unique in this scenario, is that it is the one list of facilities that we are not responsible for the maintenance. And so these fall under the probation department. Pages 9 through 12 of this SARC include state testing results, and they do a comparison over multi-years, but again, you have to remember that the students being tested during that week of testing are not the students that are in the pool the year previous or in the future, so we are unable to compare apples to apples to see any specific growth. And on page 13, you see that our students are involved with CTE programs. However, in that 39-day period of average attendance, they don't have time to complete the certificate. So even though we do have a wealth of opportunities and professional careers that are being introduced to the students, they don't have the adequate time to complete their certificates while they are incarcerated. And on page 15, it asks for us to outline our 4-year cohort. That means that students that are placed in a class graduate within that 4-year period without any delays. And as you can imagine, students who are having to balance their academic efforts along with legal issues in their lives often get off track and aren't able to complete their high school education within that 4-year cohort. So that's the anatomy of the SARC for our court program. If there aren't any questions, I'll move on to the community school. Ms. Little?
Desiree, on the page 13, on the percentage of students not tested in each ethnicity, do those students get tested elsewhere, or is it just in our school?
Those students are only being tested in this school
So it only
year.
pertains to-
Correct.
Okay.
For those students that are present on that week.
My question is similar with the English learners, because I noticed, okay, is that for the same reason?
Correct. Those tests are given at certain incremental timeframes during the school year.
Okay.
And so if they're not there during that time, we don't go back and retest. It'll be done when they return to their district of residence.
And you're not talking about the LPAC, you're talking about the CASP, is that correct?
Well, both of those would be considered in that. The standardized testing statewide would be the CASP, and the language acquisition would be for our English learners.
Okay, so if I understand correctly, you're saying they may not be present at the school during the testing time frame?
Correct.
Okay, got it, thank you.
Correct. Uh-huh.
And,
Question, yep. Oh, I'm sorry, excuse me.
You, go ahead,
All right.
go ahead.
The 36 days that you spoke of, I just want to clarify that. The 36 days is because they are sent by the court to the school. Is that for a specific period of time, and so the student then is released back into the general population?
So
Or-
if a student is arrested,
Mhm.
they usually begin that process at Central School. It's part of the Juvenile Detention Center. And they will take on their initial court dates. If there's going to be a trial, they'll learn when those dates are, that type of thing. And then they are usually assigned to a different facility through that process. So they may be transferred to Redwood. A lot of times, as part of the court decisions and court orders, they are sent to Camp Owen, which is where students are there for a longer period of time. And so it just depends on what the court's direction is to the student. But the average attendance, whether they be at camp or whether they just be in the juvenile detention center until they are booked and hearings are set or something, the average is 39 days this
So
year.
the technical school aspect of this doesn't go seamlessly across all of the facilities for the students that are court-appointed. So you have, you don't have programs, CTA programs going in some of the schools that the student is assigned to after the court date. I'm probably not saying this very well.
I'm not sure that I'm following. Give me one more shot at that.
All right, we talked about not being in place long enough to go ahead and complete
The
certification.
CTE
CTE, excuse me.
certification, right, okay.
Me an
That
acronym.
CTE certification takes a lengthier period of time. Oftentimes in our community schools, students get well into that program, but they aren't able to complete it because they're returned to their district of residence at that time. There are other ways for them to pick up CTE certification through the community. What we are hoping to do is to inspire those students to find a field that they're interested in, and whether they be in court school or community school, when they return to their regular routine, that they know what they want to pursue and have some goals ahead of them to work on.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
And my question, anybody else have questions? Okay, my question is on the chronic absentees
Correct.
rate. It's so high, 52.3. How are we addressing?
So in court schools, chronic absenteeism is often the result, because if anyone's going to be in control of a situation, court school is the place to be in control of that situation. But we often have students who are missing school because they are in court. They are within that 39 days average that they're with us. They often have court dates, court appearances, trial preparations, all those types of things where they're meeting with attorneys and preparing for their legal obligations.
So are those excused absences, or are they?
I would
absent?
imagine they would be
I would
excused. I've
think.
never
I would
thought of
think.
the question in that manner. We just, follow the court orders. So.
Yeah, I would think it would be. All right, thank you.
Uh-huh. The SARC, the community school SARC, is very similar. Much of the same explanations. We just have a longer period of time with those students. And that is this year averaging at 79 days. So I recommend approval on our accountability report card for court schools and communities, which is 4.2.2 and 4.2.3.
Motion.
We'll start with 4.2.2. We have a motion. Is there a second? Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 4.23 regarding the community schools. Is there a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second? Motion, second. Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 4.2.4, accept and file the mid-year 2025-26 LCAP update.
And I'd like to invite my partner, Lourdes Butcher, up to cover Goal 4. Great. And I'm going to start with Goal 1. This is just a mid-year review. Our whole approval process for the upcoming LCAP will begin in May and take us through June. And every year they ask for a mid-year update. So I'm going to remind you of the priorities that are reviewed by the LCAP. There are 10 of them for county offices. One is the basic services, providing a credentialed teacher, core curriculum, and an appropriate facility. 2, the implementation of state standards. 3, parent involvement. 4, student achievement, followed by student engagement. Number 6, school climate. Number 7, course access. Number 8, pupil outcomes. 9, expelled students. And number 10, addressing the needs of foster youth. So on page 1 of your LCAP update, our first goal addresses growth in social and emotional learning. You'll see in the far left column of those 2 columns at the right side of the page, the 24-25 results, and then the far right column takes us to date through December. So we don't have the full population, but you can see the direction that things are heading. Again, different students because it's a different year. And so we look down at the bottom of page 1 and follow through to page 2, and you can see the financial commitments that were both budgeted and about middle of the page, you'll see also the estimated actuals. So a good rule of thumb here is December hits your 50% mark in the fiscal year. And so we should either be about 50% expended, or we should be further expended because we're fulfilling a contract that's been paid in full, or we are buying resources and we've bought them at the beginning of the school year. If you see half of the expenditure made, it probably is tied to personnel, and we're about halfway through the personnel budget for the year. On the bottom of page 2, double check myself, yes. We get information on teacher credentialing and student achievement. Again, a lot of data is not available until those spring assessments come through, which you won't see until this time next year. The bottom of page 3, we see expenditures, and it's the same nuance about halfway through. The funding indicates that we are on track timing-wise, and that we're probably settling up with personnel. Page 4 talks about student achievement, and page 5, the focus is on student engagement and in school climate. Page 6 moves us to pupil outcomes with multiple metrics. They'll take a look at the CAS scores on student enrollment in A through G courses to prepare them for university acceptance and with CTE opportunities. Page 8 moves to the goals of the foster youth program, and Lourdes is going to cover those for you.
All right, I'm back again. I just want to highlight a few things on page 8. You'll notice in 4.3, there was, you look at the far right-hand column, there was a decrease in the gap. So more of our foster youth are staying in school longer, which is a great thing. And I do want to, I attribute this to the support we've had from Dr. Mendeburu and expanding some of the training that we're doing for our partners and foster youth liaisons. We're identifying more students. We are supporting our districts with transportation issues and facilitating some of those conversations, and also training more staff and probation and staff over at the Department of Human Services on Foster Focus, which helps them identify that foster youth, which is what you see down at the bottom right-hand corner there, that we've had a lot more trainings this year. We've upped it up to 2, having in the fall and in the spring. Then on page 9, just some things that they're not an average trend that we're just monitoring closely. There's been an increase in the number of students that, foster youth students whose scores on a math proficiency kind of fall below the non-foster youth student. And the last thing I want to highlight is item 4.14 and 15. These numbers will increase, the numbers in the far right-hand column, as far as how many students are completing their FAFSA and college applications, because that happens in the fall. But I will highlight that last year was the highest FAFSA completion rate in foster youth for Kern County. It's 74% of those students were able to complete that with the support of our homeless and foster youth services program. That's it.
And the last piece of the LCAP mid-year update is Goal 5, which starts on page 11, and it discusses the priorities that we've set for our special ed population. And again, you see the expenditures on page 12 that go with those goals as well. I'm happy to answer any questions that you might have. Otherwise, I submit this report for your review.
Any questions by the board?
Desiree, on page 8, what is a Foster Focus user account?
Thank you. Foster Focus is a program that the office provides free accounts for all the schools to be able to monitor their foster youth. So you're able to look in the system and see where they're being placed, who holds their educational rights, what's next, who their main contact should be. And so we've been providing a lot more trainings on Foster Focus for the community so that they can easily identify the youth and get them transition or get in communication with the people they need to, so we can support them more.
Is it still confidential information, though?
It's just the when they come into the system, they just have all their contact information in one spot because it changes very frequently. So it's all just a nice place to find it all. And when it's not available, usually we have our what we communicate is contact the Foster Youth Services Program, and we can do all the digging for you because it is a long process,
So
especially if the
anybody
youth
that's
keeps
working
moving
with
around.
that child can access that information?
Yes, we train school office staff, administrators, principals. Anyone at the school site can get an account that needs to monitor the youth.
All right, thank you.
If there are no further questions, we'll go ahead and accept and file that mid-year LCAP update.
I wanted to thank both of them before we move on to the next item. Wanted to formally announce that Desiree Von Flew, our Assistant Superintendent Student Support, will be retiring at the end of this year in June.
35 years.
35 years.
Thank you. Thanks.
She has been a phenomenal partner here at the County Office of Education. I've known Desiree prior to coming to the county office as a fellow district superintendent. When I came over here, she welcomed me with open arms and worked very meticulously to continuously serve the students here in Kern County and beyond. We have talked and chosen Lourdes Butcher, who is the new Assistant Superintendent of Student Support. Lourdes has been with the office for many years. She worked in McFarland for a little while. She worked in the Alt Ed program. She's been very in tune with the special education division through the Alt Ed program. Has been the executive director of the School Community Partnerships, which is part of Leaders in Life. She'll be keeping that department when she moves over to student support. She told me it's the only way she would take this position. No, we gave it to her because she works so hard with it. So she's going to be taking over effective July 1, but they are going to be partnering. That's why when Desiree said my partner here, they are working together during this transition. So kudos to Desiree for everything that you have done for all the kids here in Kern County. Her and her husband have plans and have a home outside of Kern County to retire where all of her children are, and she's looking forward to that.
Well,
and,
I need the scoop, Desiree.
So congratulations, Desiree, but I wanted the board to know.
Very kind words. Thank you.
Congratulations.
Okay, moving on to 4.2.5, we have a ballot approval and vote for the California School Boards Association 2026 Delegate Assembly ballot, and it looks like there's one name on there, Antonio Rodriguez. Is there a motion to approve and vote on that ballot?
Motion.
Is there a second? Got a motion and second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Moving on to 4.2.6, approval of the resolution celebrating America's 250th anniversary and inspiring RISE students through civic education. You guys should have a copy of that resolution in your packet.
Also on your tables, there is a sheet that's labeled Freedom 250 Teacher Toolkit. These are items that will be shared with the RISE staff so that they can look at and see if there's anything that they would like to include in the celebrations of the 250th anniversary of our nation. A lot of the history teachers will be obviously incorporating it into their curriculum and talking about it as we celebrate the 250th anniversary of America. So this toolkit will be given as an optional list for staff to look at. We will be working with the RISE program to do some things in the month of May because most of the students will be gone in June. Those students who are here in July will also get another round of celebration as we celebrate July 4th. So
That
just
is
wanted to update
awesome.
you on that.
I love it.
I'd like to read the resolution.
Well, let's entertain a motion. Is there a motion to approve the resolution?
I make a motion to approve this resolution.
We have a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
Motion second. Any discussion? All those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? Any abstentions? Motion passes. Lori, would you like to go ahead and read the resolution?
Yes, please. Thank you. So the resolution is titled, was this the correct one with the right title? Oh, I was looking at the one in the packet. Hang on.
Should say revised up top.
Yes, revised. Here we go. Resolution of the Kern County Board of Education celebrating America's 250th anniversary and inspiring RISE students through civic education. Whereas on July 4th, 2026, the United States of America will celebrate its 250th anniversary, the semi-quincentennial, marking the signing of the Declaration of Independence and the founding of our nation. Whereas the founders, guided by faith and conviction, pledged their lives to establish a nation dedicated to liberty, self-governance, and the unalienable rights of all, as enshrined in our founding documents. Whereas America's history is one of perseverance, sacrifice, and achievement in which generations of patriots have defended our freedoms, advanced prosperity, and upheld the blessings of liberty. Whereas instilling respect for our flag, Constitution, and founding principles in each new generation is vital to preserving the Republic and its values. Whereas a strong republic relies on an educated citizenry, and schools are vital in fostering the civic virtues and knowledge essential for self-governance and gratitude for our national heritage to form a more perfect union for future generations. Whereas schools are vital in educating students to uphold America's founding principles, honor the sacrifices made for our freedoms, and recognize our nation's triumphs and challenges as a force for good worthy of protection. And whereas the semi-quincentennial offers a historic opportunity to celebrate America's 250th anniversary, fostering patriotism, and unity through meaningful activities that honor our shared history, reflect on our nation's achievements, and recommit to its enduring founding principles. Now, therefore, be it resolved that the Kern County Board of Education proudly commemorates the 250th anniversary of the United States by declaring the week of July 4th through 10th, 2026 as America's semi-quincentennial week, during which Reaching Individual Success Through Education, RISE, programs will engage staff, students, and families in patriotic assemblies, lessons on the Constitution, and founding documents, projects honoring veterans and civic leaders, and activities celebrating America's history, achievements, and future. And be it further resolved that the Kern County Board of Education commits to embracing the semi-quincentennial as an opportunity to reinforce American values within the RISE culture, inspiring students to embrace the principles of our nation's founders, fostering deep appreciation for the sacrifices made to secure our freedoms, and encouraging them to uphold a legacy of perseverance, innovation, and civic responsibility. And be it finally resolved that Kern County Board of Education calls upon our community to join in this celebration, reflect on our nation's remarkable journey, and recommit to the principles of liberty, justice, and self-governance that make America a nation worthy of pride and dedication. Approved and adopted this 10th day of February 2026 at a regular meeting of the Kern County Board of Education. And then the motion and second will be added. This resolution is adopted by the following vote, and then it'll be listed there. So this is, I mean, I'm excited.
Well, you
This
did.
is, thank you. What a time to be alive, right? In America, you know, I'm just really thankful for this. And this toolkit, I know there was some questions in the audience about the toolkit. I highlighted a couple things that stood out to me that I think is appropriate and doable in the classroom. For one, to say the Pledge of Allegiance every day, that's an idea. For this school year as commemorating the 250th anniversary, because I don't think it's required anymore to do the Pledge of Allegiance. So it would be a nice thing to promote. A Freedom Minute. Highlight one fact for each day from American history over the last 250 years, such as on this day in American history, blank. And that leaves opportunity for whatever happened in our country on those dates, from different cultures, from different beliefs, from different events in our history that happened that we can celebrate as our history. I know part of our history is difficult to remember, but it's important to remember because it's part of who we are. And I know that, you know, it shaped us, even slavery and the things that we don't like to remember. But I just want to encourage teachers and administration out there and school districts to really take pride in doing this with your schools as a way to just remember where we live and how grateful that we are to have the freedoms we have and the sacrifices it took to get here. There's lots of ideas on here, but artwork the students can do and display. So this is really for all students who live in America, and I'm just really thankful to be bringing this to the board. Thank you for supporting this. And as you know, I'm very patriotic and I love America, and this is a great time. So thank you.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to the last item, 4.2.7, consideration and possible approval of increased
Did we
monthly
vote
board
on-
member
Yeah, we did vote.
compensation. Yeah, we did already. Pursuant to Education Code 35120 as amended by AB 1390.
Yeah, this item is brought to the board. The legislature approved and amended AB 1390 that allowed all school boards and county boards of education to go back and look at their current board policy to see if they are wanting to do any increases to any monthly board member compensation pursuant to this ed code. We have General Counsel Abby Offant, who is here to answer any questions that you may have. She has a presentation that we did present to our district superintendents last week to let them know about this new updated amendment. And we'll just turn it over. I know Mary also has probably some questions or stuff to talk about, so we'll just turn it over to you as a board and then kind of go from there.
I wouldn't mind seeing a presentation if one's prepared.
Do you want to do that before I ask questions, or do you want the presentation first, Mr. President?
Maybe the presentation might answer some questions. Maybe the presentation first,
Is that what you were planning on doing, Abby?
if you're prepared.
We were at the pleasure of the board. We had a presentation that we did. You can get it ready, Abby. We did a presentation with our district superintendents because they had the same questions in regards to this. And so we went over the amendment, or the AB 1390 and what the amendment meant to that policy.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.
This assembly bill was passed at the 11th hour from the state and then kind of given to everybody at the last minute, and we brought it to everyone's attention. Bakersfield City was a school district recently that has already adopted this or adjusted their current compensation based on AB 1390.
So since you guys have a copy of it, I'm going to go ahead and start speaking to it while Steve tries to get it up on the
We
screen.
can't hear you.
Sorry. I'm taller. So while Steve tries to get it up on the screen, since you guys already have a copy of it, I'm going to go ahead and start speaking to it. So as Dr. Mendeborough mentioned, AB 1390 was recently passed by the legislature, became effective January 1st, allows for school boards, school districts, and county boards of education to change their stipends that they are paid. Education Code 35120 applies to school districts. Education Code 1090 is what applies to county boards of education. Interestingly, the last time these statutes were amended was in 1984. So it's been a very, very long period of time since there was any opportunity for the stipends that were paid to county boards of education or district school boards to be increased. The statutes previously allowed for there to be 5% increases on an annual basis. So other than those 5% annual increases that could be taken, there were no additional increases that were allowed to be made to the stipends. So that's a very long time between increases, and that was what the legislature was trying to address, because obviously there's been a lot of changes in our financial needs and demands since 1984, and also what they were looking at was the demands that have been placed on school board members since 1984 and today. A lot more demands on time, a lot more demands on time in terms of the research and time spent preparing for board meetings, time spent interacting with constituents, and just the time demands in general on school board members. And that was what the case that was made to the legislature when they were asked to consider this law. So that was the backup, what they were looking at when they went to pass the law. And they passed the law with the effective date of January of this year. So what would have to be done for the board to be able to change their stipend that they're currently paid? The bylaw that governs the stipend that the county board receives is Board Bylaw 9250. The current stipend that the board is entitled to receive is $80 per board meeting attended. So that's what sets the maximum. So that is what you can currently receive. So you could receive more than $80, but you couldn't receive more than what the current monthly maximum is. So it could be more than $80 per month if you attend more than one meeting a month. So for example, if there was a special meeting that was set in a month, then you would receive $80 plus $80 if you attended more than one meeting in a month. If you wanted to change to go with what the monthly maximum has been adjusted, and it is a significant change because under the prior law for a Class 2 county, what they adjusted the law to be is it's based off of the average daily attendance for each county. Kern County is, and they divided the ADA average daily attendance throughout the state based off of, they created bands and they called them different classes based off of the bands of ADA across the state. Kern County is considered to be a Class 2 county based off of the ADA within Kern County, and they set the stipend amount for a Class 2 county at $2,000. What it was previously, even though under the bylaw for our board, for this board, is $80 under your bylaw, it was previously entitled to receive $400 a month. So that $400 by statute went from $400 to $2,000 per month. So that's the change that the statute allows. Again, the current bylaw says $80 per meeting. So it could have been up to $400 per month, depending on how many meetings you attended, but it was $80 per meeting. So if the board wants to make a change, the first thing that it would have to do is change the bylaw, because under the existing bylaw, it is limited to, it specifies the dollar amount of $80 per meeting. So what is in the presentation that I gave you would be that the bylaw would need to be updated to provide that it could receive the maximum monthly compensation as provided in Education Code 1090. That would have to be the first step. The board can always, each individual board member can always decline to receive the compensation. That has always been an option. That's an individual board member's decision. It would have to notify the county office that of your individual decision to decline the compensation. But if the board makes the decision to update the bylaw to receive up to the monthly maximum provided in the amended education code, that along with the education change in the education code is sufficient for auditing purposes for that increased compensation. So the second page of what I've provided to you is this page here, which has a chart in it. That is the chart that is included in the legislative analysis when this went before the legislature to be able to explain and justify where they were coming from, the bill's proponents, when they put the bill forward to document what the current compensation was. Again, Kern County being a Class 2 county with approximately 200,000 ADA. So the current compensation amount before this bill was passed at $400 per month, if that had been adjusted for inflation from 1984 to 2025 when this bill was proposed, that would have been up to $1,200 per month. And if that $400 a month had been adjusted by 5% per year, which was allowed under the existing statute, that would have allowed the compensation rate to have been increased to $2,680 per month. And what the legislature came up with was that $2,000 per month as being an appropriate level for the Class 2 counties.
Okay.
Now, Ms. Little, did you have a question?
No, you answered everything very well.
Okay.
I do have one question, ma'am.
Yes, sir.
Should a trustee decide to decline to take the increase in pay, is that something that remains between that trustee and the district?
Well, anything that you communicate, it would need to be in writing to the county office, and that type of communication would be subject to any type of California Public Records Act request. So while that would be a written communication, if someone made a written request for that communication, that is something that would be could be discoverable if someone made a request for that specific piece of information.
Thank you.
Do you have to take the whole stipend? I mean, if we decided to do a raise, can you not, do you have to go all the way to the 2,000?
No.
Well, I would like to propose, I know we can't do a closed meeting and to have this in discussion, but since I've been on the board and since 1984, I've received the $80 stipend. And as you said, our duties were significantly different at that time. And I was never here, and nor am I still here. And I don't think any of us are just for the monetary reasons. We're here for the students. But it takes quite a bit of our time, a lot different than it used to be. So to be fair, I asked for this to be put on the agenda because it is a new law, and I think we are entitled to discuss it. So if we have, like, I think Ms. Alphonse said, that we could have a study session and to discuss this and to see what we want to do and what we want to come up with, and if we want to change our bylaws.
I got a question regarding the bylaw. You stated that the statute was last updated in 1984. When was that bylaw last updated?
If you turn in your packet, Mr. Marcano, the very last page is the board bylaw, which was 2017. I tried to give you everything I thought you might ask for. But yes, to answer your question, Ms. Little, a study session can be held, which would give you opportunity to review these materials. And then any further materials could be that you would want to review at the study session. Dr. Mendebro could let me know what materials you would want, and I can gather those materials for you in advance of a study session.
Okay. Well, I would propose that we, Mr. President, we order a study session for a point of order and clarification on this issue.
I'm okay with that. I mean, I'm fairly new to this statute. I just barely reviewed it today, so I wouldn't mind more time to review it.
I do have, excuse me.
Would you like to set a study session at a later date and then let us know when you want to schedule that?
Yes, that'd be best.
All right, thank you.
The current compensation amount of $400, that's up to $400, so we get $80 per meeting, so that increases if we have several special meetings in the same month.
You could, the way the board bylaw is worded currently is that
Okay.
not to exceed a month, you shall receive the sum of $80 for attendance at each board meeting, not to exceed the monthly amount specified in Education Code 1090 for a Class 2 county. So how the statute was worded previously was the $400 per month. So if you had multiple meetings in a month, you would receive $80 for one, $80 for another, $80 for another, but you could never exceed the $400 per month.
Thank you.
You could have five meetings in a month and meet that max.
Okay.
If you had 6 meetings, you would exceed the
It's
max
free.
of
It's a
400.
freebie.
It'd be a freebie.
Yeah.
Under this new policy, it's a monthly, so you can have 12 meetings and you'd still get the whatever
Okay.
rate you set.
That was my next question. So it's not,
You could never exceed the 2,000.
and it's at like a flat rate.
You can still do it
basically.
per meeting, but it would go to the 2,000 mark now, not the 400.
It raises the maximum to 2,000 from 400.
Correct.
Per month.
Correct.
Abby, I do have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
When we have our study session, would it be possible to have, or do you know, the payment amount on other county school boards?
I know of some. I know that multiple boards are evaluating this issue at the same time. So some have already increased. Some are in the process of doing exactly what you're doing, of considering and studying and evaluating what they want to do. So I have some data, some are in process. Not everyone has implemented things already. I can make an effort before the study session to gather the data for who has done what already.
All right, thank you.
Can you clarify what Bakersfield City School District did? They were in the news for
Correct.
increasing it up to 3,000. Is that their actual pay, or is that just their limit, maximum limit?
My recollection was, and I would want to confirm that, but my recollection is that they went to the maximum under the statute based off of their ADA,
So they're getting $3,000 a month, basically.
based off of their what their ADA. Excuse me. They went to the maximum based off of their ADA under the statute.
I foresee a possibility that the public may see this as taking money away from the children, because we've heard that comment many, many times. Can you clarify where, if we chose to not take this, or if we did decide to take it, where is the money coming from? Where does it go if we don't receive all of it? That's
What
basically my
fund is
question.
it coming out of?
Yeah, that's the question.
John Medina's prepared to answer.
So those dollars are not eligible to come from any other grants. They come from our LCFF funding, which is our general unrestricted funding.
And it will not affect the amount of money the children receive for their education.
It does. There's always again a cost. So those dollars would just be reallocated from, again, what
Well,
other
we can't
competing
reallocate
priority
the
there
funds
is.
though in a different category.
They're unrestricted funds is where I'd have to pull from. So again, they would need to, again, they'd come from our bottom line.
Is that a fixed annual amount, or is that an amount that is adjusted every year?
It would be contingent upon the board's selection of opting in or opting out, and relative to the amount, taking into account any other statutory benefits or any other elections that the board might take.
I meant the entire LCFF.
The LCFF, our funding is contingent on
ADA?
students- Yeah, ADA, student enrollments, and our unduplicated percentages, again, which can fluctuate at any time, so.
What happens to the funds from the LCFF if they're not spent?
Then again, this year, they are entirely spent. This year, in fact, we deficit spent. We spent slightly more than what we brought in. So, but again, in the event that they don't, then they would go to our bottom line, go to our reserves. But that's in the event that they're not entirely spent.
Thank you.
And so you're saying if they go to the bottom line, then it can be used for the children or the students' education?
Correct.
Okay, thank you for making that clear.
Abby, would it also be possible to get the Assembly Bill 1390 in full so we could have it when we have our study session, please?
Yes.
Thank you.
So we're just going to table this matter, not take any action on it tonight?
Yeah, until you decide to schedule.
Right.
Is that correct, Mr. President?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that concludes that portion of the meeting. Moving on to 5.1, members of the board will report on various topics. Let's start at the end. Jose?
I have nothing to report.
Thank you. Lori?
I feel like I spent my minutes already talking about the resolution, so thank you for that. I feel like I'm being timed now, so.
You're not being timed
Okay,
by
thank
me.
you. We are approaching spring soon. It feels like spring in Tehachapi, honestly, lately, so it's interesting. But and I'm looking forward to planning the spring barbecue for our students at our Corton community students. So that's all I want to say about that. Thank you.
Thank you. Mary, Trustee Little?
I do have a question for Dr. Menborough. Have we had any parental notifications in regards to the AB 495?
You mean calls to the office or anything?
Yeah, no problems?
No, no problems.
Oh, good. That's good. Good to know. I was so appreciative of having the Leaders in Life come tonight, so I'm so glad that you're going to continue that tradition and stay with that program. You're wonderful there. Lori's resolution was outstanding. You did a fabulous, fabulous job on that. I'm proud to adopt that resolution. I did think that on the third paragraph from the bottom, that we left out a word. It should have a,
You got the revised version?
Oh, yeah. There's a revised version.
yeah, it's still not in there. Well, you may not agree with me that the word needs to be in there. So it says, whereas a strong republic relies on an educated citizenry, and schools are vital in fostering the civic. And so, do you think it should be, and schools that are vital in fostering the civic? You're the English teacher down there.
Right here, schools are that are vital, schools that are vital in educating students of America.
Whereas students are vital in educating students of
Should it say schools that are?
No? Okay, I just wanted to clarify and see if you guys thought I was wrong, and you do, so that's.
Oh, you questioned them, that's okay. That shows good critical. That shows good critical thinking skills.
Well,
You should be
thank
proud
you.
of your education.
Oh, I was educated at one time. You know. Well, thank you, and that's all I have.
Thank you. Trustee Commissioner Taos?
Nothing to report at this time. Thank you.
Lori? Yes, you.
So I got to go to the prayer breakfast. I love it when our town comes together and prays in unity. I love it. I did love the resolution too, Lori. Thank you. You know, I'm a patriot too, so I love it. I was wondering about having Turning Point come and do a presentation. Maybe not March, but April, because I'd have to get my people together. Mr. President, what do you think about something like that? Yes, I have people. I do have people that love me. What do you think about something like that?
I'd be open to that.
Okay, thank you. So let me get them together, so maybe in April, not next month, but maybe April. Also, I'd like to address the thing about ice in school. I don't know if you were going to do that, Mr. Mendenborough, or not, Dr. Mendenborough, but I did Google it. We do not allow ice on school properties. That has been since this all started. So they're not allowed on our properties, on our school properties. So I wanted to make sure that you guys were aware of that. Other than that, I really don't have much to say this month. So, thank you.
Thank you. Trustee Robinson?
Thank you. Dr. Mendenborough, I was wondering if you could elaborate a little bit on any AI policy the KCSOS has as far as student use of AI embellishments, for their lack of a better word. Do we have anything statutory or?
So AI is up and coming. It's being embedded in curriculum. It's embedded in software. It's embedded in everything that we have our hands on. So Kirk County Superintendent of Schools, in conjunction with other entities, are working on bringing training to our schools, to our teachers, to our administrators. November, we met with all of our superintendents for break and talked to them about what is it that they need for AI support in their school districts, for their students and their staff. We just last month presented to the superintendents on upcoming trainings and policies and protocols that are going to be out there for districts, so that every district's not kind of working in isolation, but we're coming together as a big collaborative on it. So as things are starting to roll out, I can keep you apprised of what's happening out there, but it's here, and we're trying to make it work for everybody, because as you know, the intent of AI can be taken out of proportion at times. And so we're working with our schools to ensure that they have the best support for supporting AI or utilizing AI in the classrooms and in the schools.
Now, does that extend to the students as well, using ChatGPT to complete assignments?
Yes, yes, we're working with teachers. Right now, currently, our curriculum instruction department is already working with districts in regards to the classroom, working with them. The two platforms right now most districts use are Copilot and Gemini. And so we're utilizing and working with districts on how to implement those as they implement those into the classroom.
And that
so-
includes student use?
Yes, oh yeah, for students, that's what I mean. Having the teachers so that they know how to work with the students and how students can utilize that. A lot of software protections are in place to identify AI versus real typing. There's a lot of students who will try to AI a paper and turn it in. There are software out there that can pick up if something was AI generated versus original content.
Okay, I had last weekend I was in San Luis Obispo, and part of the presentation where I was a lady who wrote this book, Artificial Intelligence, The Fight for the Future of Humanity. I thought it was a kind of dramatic title, but they did make some pretty interesting points. If you could indulge me for a second, I'm going to read a couple of paragraphs. The AI reality check, why this matters right now. Corporate executives and government officials are currently making decisions about artificial intelligence that will shape your children's world, often without meaningful public input. Understanding AI isn't just intellectually interesting, it's essential for those who want to participate in what may prove to be society's most consequential decisions. Consider these immediate realities. AI systems already influence whether you get hired, approved for a loan, or receive appropriate medical care. I'll take that with a grain of salt. Experts predict that artificial general intelligence, machines capable of matching human reasoning across all domains, could arrive within 5 to 15 years. That could be even sooner. That could be as soon as next year. Some leading researchers warn that AI automation could lead to 10 to 20% unemployment within the decade. Others predict AI could contribute over $15 trillion to the global economy by 2030. These aren't just statistics, they are early indicators that the most significant transformation of the most significant transformation in human history. And goes on to do that. But how this affects your family, specifically your child's education. Consider your teen using ChatGPT for homework. Are they sharpening their critical thinking skills or outsourcing it? An MIT study found that students who frequently rely on AI for writing show measurable declines in critical thinking confirmed by brain scans. This isn't a distant worry. It's happening now in classrooms everywhere. I'm not going to try and fly in the face of any policies that are made with regards to AI district-wide, but I do want to make sure that we exercise due caution as to how far we allow this into the K-12 learning environment by the students. Specifically. It's going to be a huge buy-in, not only by teachers, but also by parents and ultimately by students. This thing has got kind of an appetite that could literally eat us alive. This stuff is scary. You dig deep into this, and it really and truly does get frightening. Really, really frightening. I agree that we need to learn how to use it. We need to learn how to keep it corralled. All right, there are already corporate entities out there that are probably going to wind up doing with it whatever they want. It's already gotten into the medical field. There are some reports about diagnostics being made by AI and not by the healthcare professionals that are being paid to provide those diagnoses. So I just wanted to go ahead and bring that up. I also wanted to go ahead and point out here in public that all of us are elected here. We were all elected for a certain reason by the people who voted for us. And we are lesser magistrates. Now, if you understand we have a history teacher here actually. You've heard about the lesser magistrate, right? Oh, okay. All right. We actually have the sovereign right, okay, as county representatives, to question and to decline to follow specific laws that might have come from an agency higher than ours, like, for example, the state, possibly the United States. There's a big fight going on right now. Governor Newsom is exercising his prerogative as a lesser magistrate, as the governor of California. So understand that that does come down to here. And please understand that the decisions that we make here, we understand the importance of them. We appreciate the ramifications of them. And we don't do them despite anybody. We do them because we are considering these things as people elected by the folks who voted for us. So hopefully that can go ahead and kind of bring down the temperature a little bit when we have people getting up to speak. I really and truly do hope that that does happen. And again, I appreciate all the words that folks brought to me about the First Amendment. I'm standing by those words. I'm standing by my disagreement with some of the Supreme Court decisions, and I'm also standing by my right as a lesser magistrate to express those objections. So I hope you all understand. I hope that makes it a little bit clearer. I do appreciate all the feedback and the comments. I yield.
Thank you. Nothing from me today. Dr. Mendenborough?
Just had a couple of items. First off, if you've heard on the news, you've heard on the news, all the fog delays and closures that we've had in our county. It's kind of an anomaly and unique. It hasn't been like this in over 20 years. I was school principal the last time we closed the district where I was at. So we have been working with a lot of districts. John Medina has been very instrumental in helping districts apply for what's called a J13 waiver that would allow school districts forgiveness for those days that they had to close, even some other material changes based on a delaying of school schedules beyond a 2-hour delay to a 3-hour delay and the students not coming to school and so forth. So we are working with districts in regards to that, and hopefully we're getting out of the fog season.
And who is calling the school delays? Who does that now?
Each school district calls a fog delay, and then they post it on the alert line, which is posted on our website, the kern.org website. That's where the news will go and pull all the alerts and notify the public in regards to that. But each school district calls their own fog delays.
And what time do they have to do it by?
It varies by district. Usually the rule of thumb is before the bus rolls, but because of the way the fog has been this year, they've turned buses around and returned them to the yard.
Really?
We've had some districts pick up students and take students home because of the delays or closures that have occurred. We've had some districts who have bus delays only that are now moving to all school closures because if they close or they delay for buses, usually the parents won't bring them to school anyway. So we're working with that, and John's been working with all the districts. We had at one day, we had 34 school districts on a delay, and on that day, 8 districts closed. Panama has never had a delay of more than 2 hours, and they had one twice, I think. They've had to do that. So Wasco closed, they never closed before. So there's a lot of districts that have seen a weird fog year. So. Just a reminder, the trustee dinner is February 25th at CTEC. If you have not gotten back with Merrill, she will get all the stuff to you, or has gotten stuff to you if you get back to her so that she knows if you're attending. It'll be at CTEC, and we will be over there hosted by Kern High School District.
February 25th?
February 25th. It's a Wednesday this year and not a Monday. At final, I just want to thank the board for their understanding and flexibility last month during my father's passing, and appreciate you not or forcing me not to attend the board meeting and kicking me out. So I appreciate that and that understanding, and your true support has meant a lot to me and my entire family. So thank you.
Thank you. Moving on, 7.1, items to be considered for next agenda.
I would think that we will go ahead and put the item on there for the AB 13.
AB 1390?
Yes.
Yes. Sure. Okay, unless there's anything else, meeting is adjourned. Our next meeting will be March 10th, 2026 at 6:30 PM unless otherwise posted.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Exactly. Yes. So smart. That would be nice.